Guys, so this is what if Deku was a monster part 1. Now, this is one what if that I wanted to do. I just got done uploading what if Deku was in Daybreak, part 1, my new what if. I'm going to be uploading that right after I upload this video. And also, I will be uploading later tonight a custom review on my custom Quicksilver I just finished a couple minutes ago. So basically, guys, let's continue the video. Basically, this what if, basically, guys, I'm going to give Deku about 3 or 4 ships. Guys, you can pick in the comments down below that if you want to ship or not. Now, I just got done with my, Red Hood what if Deku was Red Hood part 2. Now, that what if you can pick if you want Deku to be shipped with somebody from the DC universe, or somebody from the My Academia universe, or just a made-up DC character you want Deku to be shipped with. But let's get into the video. So basically, Deku is basically going to be shipped with. I'm gonna be picking one of those ships, and then you guys in the comments can pick the other two. Deku's going to be shipped with Mina, and that's it. You guys can choose who else you want Deku to be shipped with. If you don't want Deku to be shipped with anybody else, you guys can just go in the comments and tell me Mina's a good ship. That's the only ship for this what if, but yeah. So basically, Deku is going to be a monster, or more specifically, a shapeshifter. So basically, I did this what if once. It was a practice one that I did in, private that I never uploaded. So basically, I'm going to be uploading this one, and I'm going to be explaining it more specifically. Now, Deku is going to be a shapeshifter that can transform into monsters. Deku can transform into, other people or just normal animals. Deku can shapeshift into mystical creatures. Nothing else. So Deku can shapeshift into a werewolf or a vampire, or I don't know, like something mythical. Now Deku can transform into your, you know, traditional werewolf or vampire. Deku transforms into a literal monster vampire and a monster werewolf. Deku can also shapeshift into, unicorns, what was it? Speed demons, demon dogs, hellhounds, anything. Deku can shapeshift into anything mystical, or, something that doesn't exist in real life, or something that, is from Greek mythology, or from Greek mythology. Something that, is lore or fake, or, is a pretty much a myth or something like that in, history. So basically, Deku is born relatively the same. Deku's quirk is actually not activated until Deku is about, 5 years old normally, when the quirks start to, manifest. Now, ever since Deku was born, he was always fascinated with Greek mythology and all sorts of other, weird history involving, lore and, mystical creatures and monsters and stuff like that. Deku was extremely fascinated with, werewolves and creatures from the Greek mythology more than anything else. Deku was even fascinated with mummies, Frankenstein, and everything monster related. Deku was a huge monster fan. He had everything monster related, and also he had everything All Might related too. Deku's favorite hero was also All Might, but also Deku's favorite hero was, I forgot his name. It's a made up hero I made called Monstero. No, it was Mega Monster. Mega Monster. Pretty much, it was a hero in Mega Monster. The number 4th hero, Mega Monster. Pretty much, that hero had the ability to basically turn any part of his body into spiky, monster-like, fleshy, extremely durable, and extremely sharp and fast, appendages. Like how like Kirishima's quirk works, like how his skin turns ragged and super durable and sharp. Pretty much, Mega Monster's power is basically just having unbreakable skin, like the unbreakable move Kirishima has, but that's just his base quirk. Basically, he's the most durable hero in the universe, and basically he can withstand anything. He can even withstand a couple of touches or blast from, Overhaul, or even, what was it? one for all. So basically, Deku, admires both of those heroes very much, and also, is a huge fan of monsters. When it comes, when, Deku's quirk, doctor exam comes along, I mean, Deku goes to the doctors when Bakugo goes there, because Deku gets his quirk at the same time Bakugo gets his quirk. Bakugo and Deku go to the doctor because in this universe, Deku and Bakugo are still best friends. And pretty much Deku, is waiting in the hallway, and then Bakugo runs out of the doctor's office saying that I have an explosion quirk. Pretty much, using his quirk and all that other stuff. So basically, Deku goes in there, and Deku's, told by his mother, and Deku's told by, the doctor that he has a pretty special and pretty powerful quirk, even more of a very dangerous quirk. Pretty much Deku can transform into any monster or any, creature that he can make up in his head, or any creature that's, from mythology or, lore. Deku was super excited to hear this because Deku was yet again, extremely into monsters and Greek mythology and all that other stuff. Deku says, "This is awesome," and pretty much he starts, pretty much jumping up in the air left and right with his All Might figure in his hand. Deku is told by the doctor that the only, drawback from this quirk is that has to Deku can't use his transformation longer than if Deku stays in a transformation longer than 2 days, Deku can fully transform into that creature and his mind will go numb and he'll become a real monster. Deku, was confused about this, but he says, 2 days? I wouldn't stay 2 days in a one animal form. That's stupid. And pretty much Deku's limit is basically 2 days. If Deku stays in a transformation longer than 2 days, he becomes that monster, mind, spiritual, and body. Pretty much Deku becomes a full-grown monster if he transforms into a monster. Now, Deku can transform into a Titan because Titan is technically classified as a monster from, an anime. So basically, Deku can transform into pretty much any monster you can think of. Even, well, technically, Groot is an alien, but yet again, no. Deku can transform into a symbiote, because symbiotes are technically kind of like monsters. They kill people and feast off the host. But basically, yeah. So basically, is extremely... Deku, in his human form now, Deku can transform his body into a pretty much... Deku can transform his body into, an increased and more stronger part of his human body. Pretty much Deku can transform into the human form of a werewolf, and pretty much Deku can, run as fast as a human werewolf. Deku can jump as, you know, Deku basically can run pretty fast. He has great stamina, incredible durability, and pretty much Deku's pretty, fit and can hold up a punch with a person with a very powerful quirk, if he wanted to, hands down. So basically, Deku is pretty strong without transforming into any type of monster. But Deku is extremely powerful when he's turned into a monster. Pretty much Deku is going, goes back home, and pretty much Deku, when he transforms into a monster, Deku's extremely powerful. Like, really. So basically, Deku attains all the abilities and, physical proportions of the monster he transforms into. Pretty much, taking all the appearances and powers, like how Beast Boy's powers work. So basically, Deku, is pretty strong. Now, half the time, Deku can change the color palette of the animals or monsters he transforms into. Say, for instance, Deku transforms into a unicorn, Deku can transform into, a white unicorn or a green unicorn. Or Deku was to transform into a wolfman or a werewolf, he can transform into a green werewolf. Deku is pretty strong. No cap. So basically, Deku goes, to school. Basically, we do a time skip about a couple years ago, a couple years later, and Deku was best friends and a very popular and very, very popular kid in school. Now, pretty much in this universe, Mina, half of the kids from UA go to the same school as Deku and Bakugo. Deku, since he's popular, he becomes, you know, pretty popular, and eventually Deku starts dating Mina. And Deku is already boyfriend and girlfriend with Mina before they even go to UA. So with Bakugo, you guys can go in the comments and say who should Bakugo be shipped with. So Bakugo is more, he's still Bakugo, but Bakugo's more, kind, just a little bit more kind. Because Deku still has his kind personality. But Deku is sort of, a troublemaker and sort of like a Beast Boy type of personality sometimes. So basically Deku is, pretty, well, more cooler. So basically Deku goes, to the entrance exams doing the 10-month art training. Now, for the 10-month art training, Deku transforms into monsters as fast as he can. Now, for Deku's, time of transforming into monsters, Deku basically, Deku doesn't feel any pain while he transforms, unlike werewolves. But basically Deku, with his, shape-changing abilities, Deku can transform into an animal or a, creature in, about 2 or 3 seconds, tops. So basically Deku is pretty fast doing transformations. Deku can also transform small parts of his body into monster parts, meaning he can use the same kind of quirk like Monster Man can, or Mega Monster. So basically Deku basically gets the same. Pretty much Deku transforms his claws into werewolf claws and uses those as weapons, or he transforms his arm into some sort of minotaur arm, or grows goat horns, or demon horns on his forehead. Pretty much Deku can transform some of his parts of his body into monsters, or Deku wants to use the full power of that monster, he can transform into the monster. So basically Deku is pretty strong. Now, monsters also include aliens as well. So Deku can transform into a symbiote or a Groot, or even, well, a mutant if you really wanted to, or a Titan. So basically Deku's pretty, strong, but Deku doesn't know any of those creatures. Now guys, you can go in the comments, should Deku meet aliens, or should Deku just be, should Deku just, stay within the whole entire, Greek mythology and lore type stuff. So yeah, go in the comments, guys, and ask me that, because I really want your guys' opinion on this what if. So basically, Deku goes back Deku goes back home after training a couple of days with Bakugo and Mina. And basically Deku goes to, entry exams with Mina. Deku gets a pretty good score all around in the written exams, but for the, combat exams, or like, the real exams, like the fight robots, Deku, gets ready. So basically Deku sees the robots and they're about to fight. So basically they get started and the robots start, going for clashes and punches and all sorts of other stuff towards, Deku. Deku starts dodging them, and eventually Deku, starts using his nails, transforming his nails into werewolf nails, clawing into robots, ripping their, plates off of their bodies, pulling their wires into their chest, out of their chest. So basically, Deku gets about 10 robots down without transforming into a monster at all. But eventually, Deku comes across like a whole entire swarm of monsters. I mean, a whole entire swarm of alien. Oh my god! Sorry, as I'm doing this unscripted, a whole entire swarm of robots towards him. Deku transforms into Deku transforms into a Minotaur and pretty much starts ripping the robots apart, clunking them, and pretty much slashing their heads right off their bodies. Deku, grabs them, throws them up against walls left and right, ramming into them with his horns, killing them, or, taking them out. Deku sees more robots coming towards his way, and eventually Deku does a sonic jump down to the ground, making a sound wave, blasting the robots off their feet. Deku runs to the robots, crushing them left and right, and eventually Deku comes across a zero-pointer robot. Deku starts running off, and Deku sees Amina trapped under some rubble. Deku's about to help her, but she acids her way out of the rubble and runs off. Deku sees that he's too late, because he was running towards her, but the robot was about to step on Deku. Deku knows the Minotaur isn't strong enough to push off a whole entire giant robot by itself, so Deku transforms into something better. Deku transforms into a Titan. Deku transforms into the same Titan the main character in Attack on Titan transforms into, and pretty much grabs two buildings, rips them apart, and pretty much starts slamming both of the buildings against each other, kind of like how Hulk did that sonic clap with the cars in Incredible Hulk, and pretty much crushed the robot off the bat, killing the robot and taking it down in seconds. Deku drops the two buildings down where nobody is at, and Deku transforms back into, a human. Deku starts falling down to the ground, and Deku transforms into Griffin. Pretty much Deku starts flying around, grabbing some robots, dropping them onto the ground, and pretty much Deku, is getting more robots, but eventually time runs out, and everybody is sent back home. Deku goes back home, basically, going going to sleep. The next day, Deku gets a note from Yue that gets in, and Deku, goes to the UA with, Mina, walks to UA together with Mina. Pretty much they go into class 1A, they sit down next to each other, and Bakugo sits right, on the other row next to them. Bakugo sees Ochaku and sees that she's kind of cute. Pretty much, guys, you can go in the comments should Bakugo be shipped with Ochaku, or be shipped with somebody else. But yet again, let's get back into the what if. So basically, Azawa walks in class, explains to the class we're doing Quirk assessments, and they get ready. They go outside, and Deku's told to throw the ball first because they got the highest score. Deku transforms into a werewolf, grabs the ball, and throws it pretty much about 13 feet up into the air. Deku gets a pretty good score, and Deku, for the long jump, Deku transforms into a griffin and flies over the sandpit. For the rakes, Deku transforms into a monster, of the traditional monster vampire, and pretty much flies past everybody, winning. For the grip test strength, Deku uses the vampire transformation again, and demolishes everybody in the basically grip test strength. So Deku gets about first place, Todoroki gets second place, and Bakugo gets third place, Minana gets fifth place, and everybody else gets their the scores you guys want them to get. So yeah. So basically, what was it? Mineta, you guys can choose if Mineta should stay or not. But I probably might expel him. I don't know. I don't know for sure, because Mineta isn't really an important character. But yet again, yeah. So I'm gonna leave it up here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. See you guys later, and as always, have a blessed day.